And we're live. Greetings, friends. Happy Wednesday to you. David is here. David says hi to Miko. Greetings, David. Appreciate you being here, friend. Miko Herptile said, host Super Antonio and Sadie and mods and everyone just passing through. Y'all have a good stream. Take care. Okay, Miko. Appreciate you checking in. And Odog is here in the background. Well done, Odog. David says, there he is. There you are, sir. I hope you're feeling better. I hope you are recovering. Hope your recovery is going well. I hope you are getting in shape and improving your old ticker, doing your cardio, keeping up on your diet. Because we need you, David. We need you. And David says, Moondog, my brother. Greetings, Odog. Tonight we are going to discuss my father's favorite war movie, coincidentally starring Clint Eastwood, by the name of Kelly's Heroes, with a great theme song. 5 years in the chat. Welcome, friends. Say hi. Say hello. Sadie's here. Sadie's awake, kinda. I had the idea, if I wasn't going to do this live stream, of doing a current events live stream, popular news of the day. I wanted to talk about the pager incident in the Mideast, because I thought that was it's straight out of a Mission Impossible plot. It's just amazing to me that they were able to coordinate that, and then they followed it up with the walkie-talkies. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. Then I wanted to talk about what happened to number 45 in Florida, because it enraged me even further. And, I just wanted to discuss some of the memes that are going around. And then I wanted to talk about Nikocado Avocado's weight loss. Serena's here. Everybody say hi to Serena. Serena says, hi, Antonio. Sorry I haven't been on. I watched and gave you a like. Serena, I give you a like. And Serena says, hi, everyone. Miss you all. Look, Serena, Sadie's here. Say hi to Serena. I hope you're feeling better, Serena. We've missed you all as well. I hope you've heard our prayers, our thoughts and prayers for you. David says, there she is with the star hearts. Odog, Serena's here. I know you're in the background. So you said, Odog is here somewhere, Serena, and he sends her love, his love as well. Yeah, Nikocado Avocado's weight loss, which I also have theories about. The main ones being either he did it traditionally and it took him 2 years, or it's Ozempic and he did it in 6 months, or it's AI and he's actually 4 steps ahead because he's got some kind of weird AI program that skinified him. Because the loose skin issue, or the lack of loose skin, is very sus to me. But who knows? But I don't know what direction the channel is going in right now. But I don't necessarily want it to be a news channel or a current events channel. I don't want to attract that kind of audience, even though I watch those videos and those channels all the time. Serena says, hi, Sadie, beautiful girl. Missed you too. And thank you. Really appreciate everyone's support. Serena, stick around because Mama One and Papa One will show up later, and I'm sure they would be happy to hear from you. If you have time, give us an update on your health situation, or if you care to share, because we all care about you and we want you to be here for a long time, and we miss you. Drinking some water. So I thought about doing that just because it was on my mind and it would be fun to talk about. Well, I don't know if it'd be fun to talk about. I don't know if you'd be interested in my opinion. But, it's just things that are happening that seem historical Serena says, it's my birthday tomorrow, the 20th of September. Okay, Serena, then this, my dear, is your birthday stream. My gift is my song, yeah. This one's for you. My gift is my live stream. This one's for you. That's all. Okay, we're going to talk about Kelly's Heroes tonight. And I'll try not to sing, but I cannot guarantee it. Come back. Serena says, I'm getting better, still watching my heart and cholesterol and diabetes. No surgery yet. Have to wait. Okay. Well, I appreciate the update. And you get better. Kelly's Heroes is a 1970 World War II comedy drama heist film directed by Brian G. Hutton about a motley crew of American GIs who go AWOL in order to rob a French bank located behind German lines of its stored Nazi gold. And I'm just going through Brian G. Hutton's wiki to see what else he did. Where Eagles Dare, which is my dad's other favorite Clint Eastwood movie. I've got both those on DVD. They're his copies. My father's copies, that is. The film stars Clint Eastwood and Telly Savalas and co-stars Don Rickles, Carol O'Connor, Archie Bunker, and Donald Sutherland, President Snow, providing the comic absurdity with secondary comedic roles by Harry Dean Stanton, Gavin MacLeod, Carl Otto Alberti, and Stuart Margolin. The screenplay was written by British film and television writer Troy Kennedy Martin. The film was a U.S.-Yugoslav co-production, filmed mainly in the Croatian village of Viznadia on the Istria Peninsula. And here's the plot. During a thunderstorm in early September 1944, units of the 35th Infantry Division are nearing the French town of Nancy. One of the division's mechanized reconnaissance platoons is ordered to hold their position when the Germans counterattack. The outnumbered platoon is also hit by friendly fire from their own mortars. Private Kelly, a former lieutenant scapegoated for a failed infantry assault, captures Colonel Dankhoff of the Wehrmacht intelligence. Interrogating his prisoner, Kelly notices the officer's briefcase has several gold bars disguised under lead plating. Curious, he gets the colonel drunk and learns that there is a cache of 14,000 gold bars worth $16 million, about $280 million in 2023, stored in a bank vault 30 miles or 50 kilometers behind German lines in the French town of Clermont. When their position is overrun and the Americans pull back, a Tiger tank kills Dankhoff. Kelly decides to steal the gold. He recruits Supply Sergeant Crap Game, that's Don Rickles, in order to obtain the supplies and the weapons needed. A spaced-out tank commander known as Oddball, that's Donald Sutherland, overhears the heist plan and suggests that his 3 unattached M4 Sherman tanks join in the caper. With their commanding officer, Captain Maitland, preoccupied in visiting his uncle, the general, and stealing a yacht, the members of Kelly's platoons are all eager to join Kelly in the heist. After much argument, Kelly finally persuades cynical Master Sergeant Big Joe, played by Telly Savalas, to go along. Kelly decides that his infantrymen and Oddball's tanks and crew will proceed separately and meet near Clermont. The Shermans fight their way through the German lines, destroying a railway depot in the process, but the bridge that they must cross is blown up by Allied fighter bombers. Oddball contacts an engineering unit to build a bridge for their crossing, and the engineers in turn bring in even more men to supply support. Oddball, after losing their jeeps and half-tracks to friendly fire from an American fighter aircraft that mistakes them for German soldiers, Kelly and his men proceed on foot. They walk into a minefield, and Private Grace is blown up when he steps on a mine. Forced to engage a German patrol that arrives to investigate the explosion, the last two men are still trapped in the minefield, PFC Mitchell and Corporal Job, and are killed before Kelly's team can eliminate the German soldiers. Oddball links up with Kelly 2 nights later, bringing with him the extra troops that he has acquired, and they battle their way across the river to Claremont. By this time, intercepted radio messages attract the notice of Major General Colt, who misinterprets them as efforts by an aggressive Army unit pushing forward on their own initiative, and immediately rushes to the new front to exploit this quote-unquote breakthrough. Claremont is defended by 3 Tiger tanks of the 1st SS Panzer Division and its infantry support. The Americans are able to eliminate the German infantry and 2 of the Tigers, but the final tank parks itself in front of the bank after Oddball's last Sherman breaks down, leaving them stalemated. At Crap Game's suggestion, Kelly, Big Joe, and Oddball approach the Tiger and offer the commander and his crew a deal: equal shares of the gold if the Tiger will shoot the armored doors off the bank. After the Tiger blows the bank doors open, the German and American soldiers divide the spoils, each gold share amounting to $875,000, about $15 million in 2023. They go their separate ways, just barely ahead of the still oblivious General Colt, played by Carol O'Connor. Colt's way into Claremont has been blocked by the joyous crowd of relieved French residents who have been deceived by Big Joe into thinking that Colt is French General Charles de Gaulle. And that's how the movie ends. It's a quick movie. It's a comedy. More the lines of like say MASH. It's a comedy action war movie. With Clint Eastwood as Kelly, Telly Savalas as Big Joe, Don Rickles as Crap Game. It's got an incredible cast. Carol O'Connor as General Colt, and Donald Sutherland as Oddball. Very young Donald Sutherland. I don't think he'd even had Kiefer yet. Production. The screenplay was written by British film and television writer Troy Kennedy Martin. He relied on a true story featured as the greatest robbery on record in Guinness World Records from 1956 to 2000. In December of 1968, Elliot Morgan, head of research for MGM, wrote to the Guinness Book of World Records requesting information on this entry. The greatest robbery on record was of the German National Gold Reserves in Bavaria by a combine of U.S. military personnel and German civilians in 1945. Wow, so it really happened, or it's based on an actual event. On the 10th of December, the editor Norris D. McWhirter wrote back to Morgan stating that he had very little information, that he essentially suspected that there had been a cover-up, which required the story should be suggested to a restricted classification. He closed by suggesting that until the security classification was changed, any film would have to be a historical romance rather than history. Stevie J says, if it's a comedy war movie, I choose to believe it was the inspiration for Tropic Thunder. Tropic Thunder is a great addition to the genre. It's a comedy, war movie, and heist movie all in one, set during World War II. If that helps, Stevie J. And also, Stevie J, welcome to the chat. Appreciate you being here. In 1975, British researcher Ian Sayer began a 9-year investigation into the Guinness entry. The results of this investigation confirmed a cover-up by the U.S. government, together with the involvement of U.S. military and former Wehrmacht and SS officers in the theft, and were published in the 1984 book Nazi Gold, the sensational story of the world's greatest robbery and the greatest criminal cover-up. The investigation finally led to 2 of the missing gold bars, valued in 2019 at over $1 million, being handed over by German officials to the U.S. government in a secret ceremony at Bonn. in September of 1996. The bullion was transported to the Bank of England, where it was held on the account of the Tripartite Commission for the Restitution of Monetary Gold. They're going to give it back to the Jews. The first disclosure that the bank was holding the two bars, complete with Nazi markings, came from a press release issued by the bank in 1987, which confirmed that the two bars were those that had been identified as missing in the book Nazi Gold. Moving on to filming. The project was announced by MGM in November of 1968 under the title of The Warriors. Filming commenced in 1969 and was completed in December. The film was made and released during a time of great financial difficulties for MGM. Location shooting was done in Yugoslavia and the ruins of the Beočin Palace in present-day Croatia and Serbia, and finally in London. One of the reasons for the selection of Yugoslavia as the main location was that in 1969, it was one of the few nations whose army were still equipped with operating World War II mechanized equipment, both German and American, including in particular the M4 Sherman tank. This simplified the film's logistics tremendously. Actors like Clint Eastwood would spend time at the Petrovardian fortress in Novi Sad during production. During filming, Sutherland had contracted spinal meningitis exacerbated by a lack of antibiotics, which caused him to go into a life-threatening coma, but he managed to recover. During pre-production, George Kennedy, you know him from Cool Hand Luke, turned down the role of Big Joe. He would have been perfect for Big Joe, despite being offered a fee of $300,000. About $2.5 million in 2023, because he did not like the role. The original script included a female role, which was removed just before filming began. Ingrid Pitt had been cast in the role. She had worked on Where Eagles Dare with Eastwood and Hutton for MGM the previous year. She said she was virtually climbing on board the plane bound for Yugoslavia when word came through that my part had been cut. In the film's climax, there is a nod to the ending of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, including a similar musical score and the addition of jangling spurs to the soundtrack. That's one thing that it's always been odd to me. It's an all-male cast, but it's a war movie. It's from 1970. There weren't that many females around, but there were some like females in the deleted scenes, which we'll talk about. Vehicles and weapons. The Tiger tanks were actually Soviet T-34 tanks that had been modified to look like the German tanks. The U.S. Sherman tanks were the M4A3E4 variant. Kelly's platoon also drove a T-19 howitzer motor carriage before it was destroyed in the hill, as well as several half-tracks. The Germans also drove a Kubelwagen. Kelly's men were armed with a mix of .30 caliber machine guns, Browning automatic rifles, and Thompson submachine guns, a few carbines, and no M1 rifles. Gutowski, the unit's sniper, was armed with a Soviet Mosin Nagant M91 .30 rifle. The German soldiers were armed almost exclusively with MP-40 submachine guns. The U.S. plane that attacked Kelly's group was a Yugoslavian Sukhoi 522, painted with U.S. Army Air Force roundels. Deleted scenes. MGM cut approximately 20 minutes from the film before its theatrical release. Eastwood later stated in interviews that he was very disappointed about the cuts because he felt that many of the deleted scenes not only gave depth to the characters, but also made the movie much better. Some of the deleted scenes were shown on promotional stills and described in interviews with cast and crew for Cinema Retro's special edition article about Kelly's heroes. And the deleted scenes are Oddball and his crew pack up to go across the lines to meet up with Kelly and others, while local village girls are running around half naked. What's that about? And then the platoon encounters a group of German soldiers and naked girls swimming in a pool, so they cut out all the nudity. While they wait for Oddball in the barn at night, Kelly and Big Joe talk about their disillusionment with the war and why Kelly was made a scapegoat for the attack that resulted in his demotion. Another part was deleted from this scene, in which the platoon decides they do not want to continue with the mission, and Gutowski threatens Kelly at gunpoint, but Big Joe and Crap Game side with Kelly. General Colt is shown in bed with some women when he gets a call that Kelly and the others have broken through the enemy lines. During the attack on the town, production designer John Barry had a cameo as a British airman hiding from the Germans. One promotional still shows Kelly finding a wounded German soldier among the ruined houses during the final attack on town. Kelly, Oddball, and Big Joe discuss tactics while standing by an abandoned Tiger tank before the scene in which they negotiate with the German tank commander. And finally, when Kelly and the platoon drive off at the end, a group of soldiers yell at them that they are heading in the wrong direction. Another great thing about Kelly's Heroes is that it has a fantastic theme song by Lalo Schifrin, who was the composer of the Mission Impossible theme song. That's probably his most famous. But his name was Boris Claudio Schifrin, and Lalo was his nickname because he was Argentinian. But he did the soundtracks to Mission Impossible, Mannix, Cool Hand Luke, Bullet, THX 1138. That's George Lucas's first movie. Enter the Dragon, The Four Musketeers, Voyage of the Damned, John Carpenter, Eagle Has Landed, The Amityville Horror, and Rush Hour. Also the Dirty Harry soundtracks. The soundtrack was released on LP. The main musical theme of the film, at the both beginning and the end, is "Burning Bridges," sung by the Mike Curb congregation, with music by Schifrin. It's a very folksy 60s. I mean, the movie was made in 1970, but it's very folksy 60s. It has a little bit of a Mamas and a Papas vibe to it, and I would consider it an anti-war song. The movie seems like, especially with Oddball, even though it's a World War II movie, it's obviously about Vietnam. It's a counterculture, very counterculture movie. It's like Oddball is obviously a hippie, even though there are no such things as hippies at this time. He would have been a beatnik. There's also a casual rendition of the music heard in the background in the middle of the film. The Mike Curb congregation's recording of Burning Bridges reached number 34 in Billboard Hot 100 singles chart in 1971. Did much better in South Africa, where it was the number one song, and in New Zealand, Serena's Neighbor, where it spent 2 weeks in number one in March 1971. Oh, it also had a 2-week stay at number one in Australia. Shout out to Serena. And in Canada, the song reached 23 in March 1971. The film received mostly positive reviews, and it's number 34 in 100 greatest war films of all time. The film, Rotten Tomatoes gives it 79% and says, Kelly's Heroes subverts its World War II setting with a pointed satirical commentary on modern military efforts, offering an entertaining hybrid of heist, caper, and battlefield action. Roger Greenspun of the New York Times described the action scenes as good, clean, scary fun until it goes horribly wrong when many soldiers were canceled and the balance alters to the horrors of war. To acknowledge the deaths the film has no resources above the conventional antagonistic ironies and comradely pieties of most war movies, and since its subject is not war but burglary masquerading as war, the easy acceptance of the masquerade, which is apparently quite beyond the film's control, becomes a denial of moral perception that depresses the mind and bewilders the imagination. Arthur D. Murphy of Variety called the film a very preposterous, very commercial World War II comedy milieu, the type which combines roadshow production values and length with B-plot artistry. Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune gave the film 2.5 stars out of 4 and wrote that the bombing becomes tedious. One quickly realizes any time a large object is brought into focus, it will soon be incinerated, with only one dramatic problem: getting the gold. It is hard to imagine how the producers and directors could let the film run nearly 2.5 hours. Charles Champlin of the LA Times called the film a picture which confuses shrillness with wit and slaughter with slapstick. I like that. Adding, even the estimable Donald Sutherland can't redeem the picture, despite his artful efforts, as his role as a long-haired hippie tank commander is so ludicrously out of time and place that it becomes hard to stomach in a film in which, elsewhere, 2 GIs trapped in a minefield are gunned down like cans on a stump. You can't poison your cake and eat it too. Alan Kriegsman of the Washington Post described the film as a case of machismo gone mad, and wondered how a photographer like Gabriel Figueroa, who shot a number of Louis Buñuel's finest films, among other things, ever got roped into such a jejune, tasteless project. Jejune is a nice word, and let's look that up. It means naive, simplistic, and superficial. Serena, don't be so jejune. I don't mean it, Serena. You're not jejune at all. I don't think anyone in Australia could be described as jejune. The monthly film bulletin stated, in terms of rip-roaring, bulldozing action, this attempt to cross the dirty dozen with Where Eagles Dare can be said to have achieved its object. However, the reviewer went on, with all the energy apparently expended on sustaining over 2 hours of consistently devastating explosions, pyrotechnics, and demolition, little attention has been paid to either period detail, resulting in mini-skirted townswomen, and the description of conditions in terms of hung up and freaked out, or to the script, which is jolly, vituperative, and little else. Vituperative. Vituperative means bitter and abusive. I was going to say full of vitriol. And that, my friend, is Where Eagles Dare. I highly recommend it. I mean, if you like war movies. World War II war movies, that is. Serena says, I'm getting better. I still haven't played games. I can't. I get dizzy. I really miss playing, especially when Halloween's come up and I have to play GTA and Red Dead. Can you just go online and see what is out? Just don't play. Just kind of like look around. Just walk around and look at stuff. But I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry you're dizzy. Serena asks David, how you're feeling? David says, I'm getting better, Serena. They cut down my blood pressure meds. I was getting dizzy and seeing blurry, and my stitches are almost gone. That's great news, David. And Serena says, oh, okay, that's how I'm feeling now, dizzy and blurry. And she continues, I feel for you, David. My prayers are with you. Get better. David says, I'm feeling more like myself. Serena says, I'm always tired and thirsty. I fall asleep and wake up and fall asleep and wake up. I'm sorry to hear that, Serena. But, we're all rooting for you. We're all hoping that you get better. We want you to get better. Let's bring Sadie back. She's under the desk. She saw her best friend, this big old cane corso, and she made a new friend. A white husky, very pretty, very well behaved white husky, and her problem is she thinks she's 25 pounds heavier than she is. She's a medium dog who thinks she's a big dog, so she's always roughhousing, and fortunately with these big dogs is they're always very well behaved, and they don't roughhouse. Perhaps because they're older and they're more mature, but she's just so excited when she sees a big dog and wants to play. But yeah, it's a nice husky, and the mom was pretty nice too. Oh, dog, Japanese girl. Let's see, what else do I have for you? How is everyone tonight? 11 viewers in the chat. Happy Wednesday. Let me see if there are some comments I can answer. Papa One is here. Papa One says, hey guys, everyone say hi to Papa One. Mama One is not far behind. Mama One says, hey family. Greetings, Mama One and Papa One. We were talking about Kelly's Heroes. I'll show you the slideshow. I already read about it. David says, there he is. Mama One, Serena's here. And Serena says, I was watching a show, Beverly Hills, reminds me of Grand Theft Auto, exactly the same. And what show, Serena? And Serena says, hi, Mama. And Mama One says, hey, David. And Papa One says, hey, David. And Serena says, hi to Papa One. Say hi to Mama One and Papa One. JD's here for the time being. Mama One says, hey, Serena, it's great to see you here. Yeah, I'm so happy she's here. And Papa One says, hey, Serena, hope you find this better, doing better. And Serena says, Beverly Hills 90210. Yeah, I'm amazed how much Grand Theft Auto or looks like Los Angeles. But Beverly Hills 90210 is basically a teen soap opera. Star Hearts. But yeah, that's what it's like in America. Beverly Hills 90210. One of the definitive shows of the 1990s, 90210, originally followed the lives of Brandon and Brenda Walsh, who both eventually leave the show and their friends through high school and college into adulthood. Mom One says, hey, Sadie, time for potent canine bait. Yes, we've got plenty of that for her. And Serena says, getting better, Papa One, still not good. And Papa One says, well, you are in our continued prayers, Serena. Serena says, yes, my family watch it. I enjoy the show. I like the characters. Yeah, I mean, it was one of the, I mean, it went forever. Like 10 years. From 1990 to 2000. That's crazy. My sister watched it. I'm watching a show called Hell on Wheels. Papa One says, today was a sad day on the farm. One of our farm dogs passed away. His name was Crash. We had a little memorial today and added his picture to our Hall of Fame. That sounds, I'm sorry to hear that, but, he had a good life, I'm sure, a happy life, and especially on your property, you got to be free. You got to do a lot of things that most dogs don't get to do. And also, he's being remembered. He's remembered in the chat, and you added his picture to your wall of fame. Mama One says, Crash was a German Shepherd Rottweiler mix, and I'm sure that Sadie would have loved him. Papa One, have you seen this movie? It's a comedy. It's not very accurate. But I thought you'd appreciate the World War II imagery in the slideshow. Serena says, Serena says, also started watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Never saw that before. It's pretty good when I don't fall asleep watching TV. I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Great theme song. Joss Whedon, you know him. He directed The Avengers. This is the show that made him famous. And they also did a spin-off. See if you can find that, called Angel, that follows that vampire Angel, where he plays a vampire detective in Los Angeles. But yeah, I love Buffy, Cordelia, and Willow, Xander. That actor Xander, he hasn't had a good life after that show. He's not doing well, and he's a twin, which I find interesting. Sarah Michelle Gellar is basically retired. She has a couple kids. She's married to Freddie Prinze Jr. Still married. Papa One says he was around 12 or 13 when he passed. We have a room in our barn that we have insulated and air conditioning in it. We used it as an office for farmhands, but when one of our special dogs passed, we put a picture on the wall in memory, so we call it the Hall of Fame. That sounds like a great tradition, Papa One. Serena says, sorry to hear that, Mama One, and Papa One, my prayers to you. Papa One says, I seen Kelly's Heroes a long time ago. It's probably been 10 years. And Serena says, yes, I saw Angel. I'll probably watch that after. Yeah, watch it after. Just go through Buffy first. This was one of my dad's favorite movies, Papa One, and I grew up with it. It's like he would watch it constantly. He'd watch it every weekend if we'd let him. He had it on DVD. This movie, Kelly's Heroes, Where Eagles Dare, The Sting, all the Inspector Clouseau movies, the ones with Peter Sellers, that is. Mama One says, thank you, Serena. Crash was one of my favorites. He was always the first waiting on supper. And Serena says, you're welcome. That's sad, Mama One. Well, we just want you to get better, Serena. And David. But David's on the way. David's in recovery. So we got to get you into recovery. So we can get everyone back to 100%. Papa One says, my dad was the same way with Outlaw Josie Wales. Was your dad a serviceman, Super Antonio? No, he was not, but he was very sentimental about it because both my grandfathers on both sides were in the military, Army. Um, but yeah, so they were both my mother and father were raised in military families, but they both rebelled. What's that about? But I have a lot of cousins in that are. I don't think anyone's currently in service right now, but I got a lot of we got a lot of veterans on both sides. Mostly Army, some Air Force. We served. My family has been in every U.S. conflict, going back to the Spanish-American War on both sides. And as I told Mama One in another chat, if we count in-laws, we can go. We can trace our war history back to the Civil War. Mama One says most of the time, kids raised in a military family don't want that for their family. Yeah, you know, yeah, they just My father was an engineer. My mom taught ballet and yoga. She had a ballet studio. So I guess it kind of explains why I'm so attracted to yoga instructors, but I don't like being a cliche. But it's just familiar to me. It's what I grew up with. Pop One says, one reason I went, one, I got kicked out of school. I was a bad kid. I pulled a knife on my principal. I thought it was funny. Him, not so much. Second reason, I knew the draft was coming for me. Yeah, it was a different time period back then. Um, Pop One says, I didn't like the Army uniforms. The dress blues look better. My wife will confirm it. Um, yeah, yeah. This was both my parents were very sentimental about war and military movies, even though it's not what they wanted. Mama once says it's true. Yes, it's nice having how do I put this? Like successful couples in the chat as part of this community. It's a good example for the younger viewers and also on the replays, just to see that kind of rapport and to see a successful relationship that has stood the test of time. It's very valuable. And it's like a lot of these single guys, fatherless sons that I assume that are in the chat that just don't have that kind of example, and they can't you have to see that in your life in some way to know that it's real, that it exists, and it's possible to strive for, as opposed to the artificial and enhanced relationships you see online or in on movies and TV. David says, mine is making dinner, fish tacos. Well, I'm glad, David. And shout out to your lovely wife, Chrissy. And I know you love fish tacos. Fish is good for you. Serena says, sounds yummy, David. Yeah. This one loves fish. "13 viewers in the chat. Appreciate you being here, friends. Happy Wednesday." Serena, are you on a special diet? David is. I had split pea soup and pizza salad for lunch. I was craving split pea soup. Sometimes I do. It's I don't know. I don't know what it is about it. But it's one of my favorite soups. Serena says, I've been having healthy food. Lemon, crumb, fish, and potatoes and veggies and spinach with lemon. I cook myself. That sounds delicious, Serena. I'd eat that. What kind of fish? Australian killer fish? I guess, which would be shark, I guess. Serena says, yes, I'm on a healthy diet. I eat healthy now, though sometimes I have a strawberry milk. You know, I used to love strawberry milk, but I don't think I've had it since I was a little kid. But I remember the taste, and I like strawberry ice cream. I suppose that's the same thing. Now I want some strawberry ice cream. Thanks, Serena. Serena says, I don't like fish or seafood, but crumbed fish I like. So I think by crumbed fish, you mean breaded fish. That's what we call it in America, or, you know, like the land of the free for now. Mom once says, we had a great example in my mother-in-law and father-in-law. They were married in 1946 officially, but they were together since they were 10 years old. Wow. Yeah, that is a great example. Serena says, LOL, Antonio, sorry. Well, I just want to make you laugh, Serena. And it makes me laugh, but, you know, it's like, I'm sorry. I've missed you, and I'm glad you're here, and I tease you too much, and I apologize. I also tease O-Dog a little bit. Mom once says, you need some nutrition, Serena, such as venison, bear, or rabbit. Yeah, you need game. Big game. Or wolf. But yeah, I assume protein couldn't hurt. Serena, starfish, star hearts. If you don't like fish, you probably don't like sushi. Serena says, LOL, Mama, I don't think I had that, Mama. I had rabbit once. Aren't you overrun with rabbits, Serena? In Australia, didn't you like rabbit is one of those invasive species. Rabbits in Australia. Yes, rabbits are an invasive species in Australia and are considered one of the country's most serious pests. They were introduced in 1850s for hunting and have had a devastating impact on the environment and native species. Rabbits damage crops and pastures. They compete with native animals for food and shelter. They damage infrastructure. They spread invasive weeds. I imagine because they eat them and then they poop out the seeds. Serena says, I miss Coca-Cola. I can't have that for now. Yeah. That craving goes away. I mean, I used to be addicted to Diet Coke, and I'm not anymore. Um, Papa one says, when my parents were in elementary school, my mom used to beat my dad up and bully him. Turns out that was her way of saying she liked him. They were together all through his service and everything. It's very charming. Yeah, you know, he's paying attention to him. Uh, I'm glad you're smiling, Serena. And Papa one says, the letters they wrote each other from 1941 to 46 are amazing. I have them all still. It's in their room. We had this house built with 7 bedrooms and 5 baths. We did that because we all needed space. Papa one, did you hear about the Hezbollah pagers? Can't really talk about it. I probably shouldn't even have said that word. Um, but it was a plot straight out of Mission Impossible. I was amazed, and I mean, when I heard it, it started like blowing up over Twitter. Uh, no pun intended. I thought for sure it was some kind of hoax, but no, it actually happened. They did it. And couldn't have happened to a nicer group of people. Serena says, I don't normally have jelly beans. Sometimes I do. Not all the time. Now I don't want jelly beans. I'm sure they make sugar-free jelly beans. It would make sense that they would. Let me look it up for you. Sugar-free jelly beans. Yes, they do. Sugar-free candy for diabetics, 0 sugar. Also, they've got like Jelly Bellies. Those were the jelly beans that Reagan liked, and they're sugar-free. How many calories? They're also a vegetarian. Assorted flavors. I'm not sure what the flavors are, but Puplin says we all camped outside like they did when they built John's house. It took months, but it was worth it. Mom and Dad's room is still like they left it. I miss them both now. And Serena and Mama and Serena and Mama One are bonding about diabetes. Um, 16 viewers in the chat. Welcome, friends. We were talking about Kelly's Heroes, Clint Eastwood, and now we're just kind of catching up. Channel moderator Serena is here from Australia. She has been recovering, and we are all very happy to see her. Free Roam Fridays will return on Friday. I'm not sure what we're going to do for the Saturday movie, if we even have one. But I found an interesting serial canceller, Mama One. Dating game. The dating game canceller. His name is Rodney Alcala. Have you heard of him? Rodney James Alcala? He was very scary because he often referred to as the dating game canceller because of his 1978 appearance on the television show The Dating Game. In the midst of his canceling spree, he died of unspecified natural causes in 2021 in jail. And of course, Mama One knows all about him. What do you think? Would he make a good Sinister Sunday? Oh, and then I did a deep dive on Brigham Young. I know nothing about the Muslims, or the sorry, forgive me. I know nothing about Mormons, and apart from like the cliches about the multiple wives in Utah and stuff, and it's like I've never really known one. I knew one in high school, but he was like there was one Muslim Mormon in high school, and he was a kind of a weird kid. But anyways, Brigham Young, the founder of the Mormon religion, had 55 wives and has 30,000 descendants that are alive. He died in like the 1800s, but his descendants include FDR, George H. and George W. Bush. Who else? This is just off the top of my head. Matt Damon, Britney Spears, and Kim Kardashian. What's that about? Yeah, it's crazy. Just like Genghis Khan, who canceled and pillaged his way across most of Asia to the point where most Asians are related to Genghis Khan. I'm sure I'm related to Genghis Khan. It's just, but or his army at least. But yeah, it's just amazing that happened. Papa One says 55 wives. My old self can barely handle one. Yeah, I think it was. He thought it was God's will. Mama One says he won the date on the dating game, but he backed out. But she backed out because he was a creep. Yeah, he was supposed to be very charming and charismatic and had a high IQ. Mama One says, I manage mine, Serena, with diet, and I get plenty of exercise doing work on the farm. I drink Aldous Diet Soda since they discontinued Tab Soda. Yeah, Serena, just, get active, get your diet under control. After you get your heart fixed, to just start doing like cardio, walking around, maybe get a dog, yoga also helps. Maybe a little like light strength building exercises. That's what, one good thing about yoga is that it's basically body weight calisthenics, with a philosophical vibe to it, so, also it's great stretching and it's great, it's great for your stress and you learn how to relax and how to breathe. Serena says, where's O-Dog and everyone else that's not on a diet? Oh, not on chat. Forgive me. O-Dog is somewhere. He's playing. He is playing one of his video games. Papa One says, can we do a horse show on my two favorite horses? I like the Gold Turk and the Blood Bay Thoroughbred. We're going to do a viewer horse show, and you can you can submit your horses, Papa One. Maybe we can have the Gold Turk and the Blood Bay Thoroughbred in the background. Yeah, because we're at 18K, 18.5 right now, I think. 18,049. So we got to do a horse show at some point. And Serena says, I feel like a soda drink now. Okay, Serena, you're a soda drink. That's a bad joke, and I apologize. And on that note, my friends, I appreciate all you being here. Shout out to the mods. Serena, welcome back. We'll see you on Friday, I hope. Papa One and Mama One and David and Chrissy and O-Dog, really appreciate you being here. Hey, come back up and say goodbye to the chat. Hop. Say goodbye, TD. Like and subscribe.